So, should be almost live now. Always takes a second. I hope someone comes in live today, man. I want to see where the love is at. That's the goal. I want to get more people to watch so I can have more people learn from these amazing matches. I got sent another one. It's really good. It's Garry Tonon versus Javi Vazquez. Javi Vazquez is my assumption of the pronunciation of the name. Sorry if I butchered that. I have not watched this match yet. Garry Tonon is one of my favorite people to watch, as I'm sure it's many of your favorites too. So I have recently been studying him a lot in especially his takedown game and how he does these like scrambly offensive positioning where he almost lets himself get put in bad positions and uses it to counter. And I've been kind of using that concept, and it's something that I like. I like not being afraid to be put into a bad position. I'm very I've been very proud of the for like a year I was focused on pin escapes. For the last few months I've been focused very hard on guard retention in combination with leg locks, and it's been a lot of fun. And I can see how being like sometimes more of a counter artist can be very beneficial. So I actually have no idea if Garry Tonon won this match or what's going to happen, but I'm just kind of talking to him as a like a scramble wrestler, submission grappler. So let's go ahead, share the screen, and we can start watching this match together. And like I did with the last one, let's watch it. We'll kind of talk a little bit as the match goes. Excuse me. Just had some coffee, got the caffeine running, feeling good. Let's commentate over it. We'll watch it together. And then for any moments that really stood out, we'll look back and break it down. So I'll go ahead and share my screen now. And let's start watching. Gracie Nationals 2015. It's crazy how much jiu-jitsu has really grown over the past few years. It's really going to be a big sport in the future. I'm predicting that. So they're not afraid to play around. That's what I like about the jiu-jitsu grappling versus like wrestling grappling. Look at that. Went right in for the takedown. They're kind of like more relaxed. Hard to go for a takedown when the person's really not trying to defend, or person's really focused on defending and you're kind of up. So you see there, Garry Tonon used a head block and hand, what's it called? A hand post on the hips of his opponent. And he used that to defend the front headlock. That was actually something that I learned in his Exit the System. So, wow, nice little scramble there. Garry Tonon is starting to try to come up to the top and getting into the back using that twister hook. He was able to obtain that twister hook in the midst of that scramble. We can probably look back at that later. But now he's using this to kind of climb up. It does not have his hook in, but he does have back exposure. He has the double underhooks. So that's a really powerful position. So now he's trying to, oh, that was really nice how he like kind of sat up to his butt and he used that to create space for his hooks. Oh, but Javi doing a really good job clearing that bottom leg. I like how Garry Tonon using double underhooks here before he obtains the legs, but Javi was able to get his own underhook and he was able to face in, and now it's more of a pin. We got Garry sitting judo. Garry sitting judo in the proper way. I think a lot of people get bucked over when they're in judo, but he's very well balanced. He's got that far underhook, looking to do something, but Javi's got good frames. He's kind of framing away. He's trying to use that to get his leg over and possibly get into like an armbar position. He uses the sit out position to kind of scramble out and get on top or get back up to his feet. Great. Love it. Everyone's clapping. Everyone's happy for the scramble, as they like to say. They recentered, re-dapped up, and now it's time for a good match. Both opponents looking fairly relaxed, looking like they're just doing some good jiu-jitsu. Nice subtle little sweep there by Javi. That was very interesting. I don't believe this is a points match, so maybe Garry Tonon doesn't even care. He's using that like lockdown position to extend. He's maybe trying to get Javi elevated to look into other leg entanglements or even use a knee bar. Javi doing a good job posting at the wrist to keep him down. So now he's able to flatten out Garry Tonon by slowly working from his hands upwards of his arms, eventually to his torso. Garry using that timing there beautifully as he went to step over to sweep. And he's now using that little hook there. I love this half guard pass where you use your foot to pummel inside the man's hips in order to slowly climb up top to maintain that control. Kind of in like a neon belly type position. Something that's really powerful with Noki is that uh, nice little back step into the hook. He's trying to hook it, probably go for some sort of back take with that one. If he hops over to the other side, he could entangle into inside Senkaku, which would be interesting. So far, interesting match so far. They're really going after it. Basic little sweeps. You see this basic little sweep like white belt stuff, but you can see how they have really perfected the ability to know when to do the move and how to do the move. Javi kind of standing up on one foot, trying to like float over the hips as he goes through this body lock style of passing. Garry Tonon came up for that Darce from the bottom. That was really cool. A lot of awesome stuff happening in this match. So we're now kind of in the mount. Garry Tonon's head is kind of in like an awkward position as he tried to walk his arm up. Javi using that to get back on top. Really awesome match so far. You love to see it when both guys are just trying to go after each other. It's awesome. Garry Tonon always involved in these type of matches. The people always want to go against them because he's fun to grapple with. Using that little half guard underhook to try to creep up to the back. Now going into like a guard type of situation, probably looking more for like a top lock. Eddie Bravo doing rubber guard. Maybe looking for like to switch to either an omoplata or switch to a triangle. But I bet you he's looking for that leg as well. He's going to start going for that underhook there. If Javi stands up, he has an entrance to the legs. That's what he's doing. He's trying to go into a backside 50-50. Excellent. Excellent transition. That's a big Henzo move right there. You go from that omoplata position, they stand, backside 50-50. Excellent entrance. But unfortunately, I think Javi was a little familiar with it, and he sat back down. But this positioning did give Garry top position here and top control. He's kind of smashing him down in this almost leg drag type of position. You can see he was almost looking to throw his leg over and try to like catch an arm or catch a leg or something. Now trying to use this to take the back. Trying to keep his right hand posted and maybe try to walk that hand up and go into like an arm triangle, arm bar situation. Probably feeling very heavy with his shoulder there. Okay, he's now able to walk that up. Possibly even going for a mounted triangle here as Javi's right arm is down by his hips, sitting judo. Very interesting. Javi again trying to use those legs to get in front of that, to reverse the sitting judo. There's the climb over. His legs are fully extended here. I wonder what that's about. Trying to trick him into going into mount or something. Now reaching down almost kind of like for a key lock on Javi's right hand. But of course, Javi goes to straighten. But he can turn this into a straight arm lock or a Kimura. This is really interesting. This looks like a tight Americana. And he's trying to use his legs to help finish, but he was able to get out, unfortunately. Very hard position to finish. Very hard move. He's trying to use his underhook there to keep that arm going up. This is something that he's really been fighting for all match. Javi using that time to enter in onto the leg. Garry looking like, I don't give a shit. Go ahead and heel hook it. Excellent backstep there. Excellent backstep out of Ashi. Very simple. If I was Garry, I would have snatched up a backstep on that leg. There was an opportunity there for a split second. I would have loved to see him hit it. That top saddle is such a great position. But here he is, seeing to find control of that far hip. That was interesting as hell. I'm sure if you like see a shoot to kill, he probably does something like that. That was very intentional. That little underhook going for like an over-under type pass, and he did a roll to try to enter in on the legs. Very cool. Garry staying nice and heavy here. Javi's trying to push that hand down. It seems like Javi's been on the defensive a lot so far in the towards the ending of this match, just using that little sweep there, but you see Garry Tonon with that lockdown. And that could be really, really tight if you really got a guy that knows what he's doing. Looks like he's got some sort of grip on the arm, maybe like a shoulder crunch. And he used that to get on top. Very interesting match. Looks like Javi's getting a little bit tired as Garry is continuing to put on the damage. He's kind of in like an S-mount type position. Uses that to obtain inside position. He's now fishing for that heel hook. He's nice and deep on the hips. Looks like he's caught it. And they're going to keep rolling. Oh, he's able to free his knee line and slip out. Very cool. Awesome transition. Awesome defense. Garry Tonon's really going to have to pull off the right move if he's going to get the finish here. So he switches to north-south. Goes into like this over-under type position in north-south. Maybe trying to fish for that arm. I'm not sure what Javi's doing here with his legs extended like that. You usually see people with their knees up trying to reclaim guard. To me, I don't know, maybe he's either trying to be sneaky, maybe he's getting tired. Who knows? Everyone's game is different. Oh, looks like he's catching into a mounted triangle here, trying to get that right foot over the left arm of Javi. Garry here's maybe trying to like sync up. Oh, he got into the arm. He's in like an arm lock situation. He's in a top lock. He almost went on bottom. Using that scoop grip on the leg to really keep control, so it gives him more time in the position. Trying to use his legs to break the grip of Javi's arm. He's able to get out. Transitions into 69, and now he's going for that inside Senkaku again. Possibly could use this as a pass. Looks like Javi's really committed to attacking the upper body. But it's really tough. Yeah, because there's so much control in that top saddle. Using this to obtain back exposure. He's definitely going for a mounted triangle here. Nice. Right over the shoulder there. Excellent transition. Learned that move from Nick Ronan. Powerful stuff. As he transitions, he's bringing that shin over. Oh, this is going to start getting tight. And he's got his arm across. So I think this is where the match is about to end. Looks like he's really got it tight. Nice. Yeah. That was fucking good. That was a good match. A lot of awesome things happened there from transitions. And this is why I like watching Garry, because he gets into these positions from scrambles. He gets into dominant position from scrambles. So it can be tough to, at first, see exactly what he's doing. But if you look back, you can really start to see it. So let's go and start looking at some of the memorable moments. Well, firstly, let's go ahead and break down that triangle because that was sick. Okay, so let's look back at how he got into this top position. So he was kind of on like the dominancy of offense right there at the end. You could see how he chained together his offense. He went for one move, then another, then another, then another, then another, until eventually he got the breakthrough. So that's something that you can really learn from this match, is that you always want to have offensive moves that apply pressure to the opponent, so that way eventually you can get that breakthrough. That was a big thing my coach Rob really talked to me, Rob Deagle. He really told me a lot about that. So it's great to be able to watch this and understand what's going on by having such excellent coaches. You could see here how he was kind of looking for this mounted triangle at first. So he kind of went into this over-under position. And you can see how he's sliding up using his knee there. And he starts going for that key lock position. Then he's looking to trap the arm, and he brings the head over. So he's doing that little arm trap sequence. So now he's looking to take his right foot, and he's probably trying to slide it over Javi's left shoulder. I don't think he was really able to get in. So then he's kind of looking for, I think, more of like an S-mount armbar type of situation. And now he's in that S-mount. Javi tries to use his legs to get on top, but he was able to keep, Garry Tonon was able to keep that right foot across to keep him from coming up all the way. And now he's scooping the leg, which keeps more control. So now his head is resting on Garry's leg, and Garry seems to look to be trying to get that leg over his head. But he came over the arms in this position here. And he's using, you can see, he just swam that foot inside. And he was trying to use this as like a curl. But watch what happens. Look at Garry Tonon's right foot. They go into like the 69. And then he uses, this was nice. So when he switches over, watch Gary's left hand and watch where it goes. It went under Javi's left leg, and then it went over in like an under-over type of grip. He uses this to open up Javi's legs to throw his right foot inside so he can get to top saddle. And look how Garry Tonon's left hand now grabs his right arm as almost like a rear naked choke grip for a split second there to keep control. Then, in order for Garry to establish position, he continues that under over to keep space between the legs. Now Javi tries to come up, but because he has his right foot inside and he has that hand grip, there's just no way Javi can come up. There's too many wedges in between them in order for him to come up. So he's able to just like lightly sit him up. You can see Javi's putting a lot of struggle in the street cleaner. Javi's putting a lot of struggle trying to get on top. Garry looks very relaxed. You can see it's not very straining. So he uses that to pass. And then what he does is because Javi has this under, as he's trying to come up for like a body lock style of pass, he hugs the far armpit and he sits. And when he frees his legs, he slides up. And this is a very dominant position. You can fall back for arm bars on this arm. You can look for triangle transitions, which is exactly what Garry Tonon's going to do here. Because he has control of this Javi's left side, all he has to do, see, this is the exact thing I learned from Nick Ronan, which is fucking awesome to watch happen by Garry Tonon. So now he slides his right hand in, and this is all you need. Look at all that space for Garry to throw his foot over as he's grabbing his head to keep that arm and head isolated. Now it's right over the shoulder. Now Garry Tonon has absolutely no problem going to his back because now he has a fully locked in triangle, pretty much almost fully locked in. If you're confident in your control, you go right here. You see, he's keeping his legs extended at first, right? Because he wants to keep extended to keep pressure. And then he lets go of that as he's keeping it extended. Then he brings it up. And you could see how the entire time Garry Tonon keeps his knee and heel connected. It's connected, leaving Javi no space to free himself. And watch how Garry slides his leg right over to get that lock. And then he's using that foot grip in order to pull in because you can adjust without loosening up the triangle. And you can see also how he's really trying to keep his hips off the mat and he's angling off, trying to keep more pressure going on. And eventually he gets the tap. Very awesome transition. Very awesome transition to get into that mounted triangle and then transition to the bottom. I want to look at this leg entanglement here. This is something that I learned from Rob. So he's coming up top here, Garry Tonon. He's trying to come up. And he instead switches to this more of a side guard position. Like, not side guard, but he's got an angle inside of closed guard. And it looks like Javi's fighting the left leg of Garry Tonon. So now he's trying to threaten this omoplata here. He's fighting that hand to try to maybe climb over for a triangle, but instead winds up going into this more so omoplata position. So he brings that over. Now watch how Javi goes to stand. And you can see how Gary's taking his right hand underneath to give himself that angle as Javi then stands up and starts to create space between his hips and his ankles. Garry Tonon transitions right into a K-guard hook with that scoop grip, which leaves him space to enter into that backside 50-50. So he brings his foot, tries to bring his foot over the hips in order to get inside and get into maybe like an outside Senkaku type position, which is really cool. But Javi then used that to square back up. But you can see how Garry Tonon now has that inside position of his foot. He's got that little scoop grip, and he's keeping pressure on the legs, so he's able to then stand up with a heavy chest, and he's able to use this as a pass. So excellent work. I'm going to call it at that. I think that this was an awesome match, and I think what we can really learn from with this match in particular is to always have offensive moves chained together where you're putting the pressure on your opponent and you know what you're doing. You're being intentional, right? Like Garry Tonon has probably drilled this sequence a dozen times. He probably drilled each one of those moves individually, and he knows that these transition into each other, right? So that's what you got to think about when you're drilling. You can't just think about moves and techniques. You actually got to think, okay, this fails, what do I do? If this fails, what do I do? That's something that you go back and you analyze and you research. Well, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the breakdown. That was a lot of fun. That was a great match. Always love watching Garry Tonon. Probably will do more of his matches, but we'll see what my people send me as far as what matches they want to see. It's always fun to do what the people want, right? That's what makes it really cool. That's what makes it really interesting. So that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys learned a lot from that match, and I hope that this was enjoyable. Please remember to like, comment, and share with your friends because that all helps me grow this channel, as well as please subscribe for future uploads so that way I can get better at taking over the world. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I would really appreciate any sort of following and support. I would hope that this is very helpful. I think that people that watch this can really learn a lot. So anyway, guys, enjoy whatever day you're on when you're watching this, and make sure that you go and chain your offensive moves together.